Hey guys, alright, so today I'm here to do my week 7 update with Chelsea Lifts here on YouTube. And I did skip last week because I took a break from counting calories, counting everything, working out kind of. So yeah, gonna go over how all that went and let you guys know how I feel now. So basically last week I was in Cozumel, Mexico for a family vacation with Gary's side of the family, and that was a lot of fun. Like I said, I didn't track any of my macros, I didn't track my calories, I didn't exercise or like do my traditional workouts, but I did stay active. I went snorkeling, swimming in the ocean, and just, you know, just being active, walking around and stuff like that. Nothing too crazy, but still making sure I was moving and not just sitting in the pool the whole day. So yeah, and then after that, I was there for 4 nights, and then the next 4 nights I flew to Orlando for a work expo or a work thing, and I was there for 4 nights as well. And I didn't work out at all, but I did. There's a lot of walking involved because it was our national sales expo, so walking around the booths and all that. And then on Friday night, I believe, it was the party, so I was dancing a lot. I was a dancing fool, which is kind of a good thing because alcohol-wise, I didn't drink that much that night because I was just on the dance floor and I didn't want to get off. So I was definitely very active and like dripping in sweat that night, so that was a workout within itself, just not my traditional ones. In regards to food, in Cozumel we had a chef for breakfast and dinner, so lunch was on our own. For lunch I would either eat the leftovers from the night before or ramen, instant noodles. With those I would try to add some vegetables or some chicken or leftover meat from the night before, so I kind of rounded it out to be somewhat of a nutritious meal, not just carbs and sodium, but have some protein and you know, vitamins and stuff like that in it. Yeah, the food in Cozumel was good. It was all homemade. The chefs would come to the villas and cook for us, family style, traditional Mexican food in a way, tacos, fajitas, carne asada and stuff like that. So it was all pretty good, all homemade. I did notice, however, breakfast didn't settle well with my stomach. For those of you that don't know, I don't have a gallbladder. I had it removed quite a few years ago, and so I've noticed since then I have trouble digesting really, you know, meals that have a lot of saturated fat. So I felt like our breakfast just had a lot of oil or butter, and eggs are fine, but it was, I think it was just the amount of oil and butter that they used to make breakfast just did not settle well with me. I would go number 2 in the morning when I get up, go downstairs, get breakfast, and then within the hour after having breakfast I was upstairs again. Going to the bathroom, number 2, just not as pleasant as the first time around, if you know what I mean. So I do know that about myself, that I don't digest saturated fat very well, so I typically try to stay away from it, or if I have it, just not have a lot of it. And unfortunately, breakfast was kind of an issue for me. I still ate it because, I don't know why, but I did, and I was like, maybe this day I'll feel better, or maybe this day I won't, you know, have an upset stomach, but lo and behold, every day, every morning, it was an issue. So that's something to note. Then when I went to Orlando for my work thing, my digestion, you know, there were more options for breakfast, and it was better from there on. And then when I got back from all my trips, I did notice my stomach was a little off. There was 1 or 2 days that just on and off going to the bathroom, and I think it's just from traveling as well as not eating as clean as I normally would at home. In Mexico, the food wasn't actually that bad. Like I said, everything was homemade, but I think the amount of oil they used was a little more than I probably would have. But they were primarily still somewhat whole foods. I mean, it was a lot of vegetables, a lot of protein like chicken and beef, and rice and stuff like that, so it wasn't horrible. It wasn't like I was eating hot dogs and burgers and, you know, all that kind of stuff, and fries. every day. It was more home style cooking, so that was good. As well as when I went to Orlando, the food there was buffet style, but there are a lot of different options. I opted more for the vegetables and some, you know, lean meat like chicken and stuff like that. Again, the carbs were a little bit of an issue during the buffet stuff because they weren't very clean carbs, like a lot of bread. But like I said, I was taking a week off, so I wasn't too hard on myself. I still let myself have some bread and all that. So when I got back, I weighed in, I think at 119, 120 when I got back from vacation, and when I left, I was around 122-ish. So I actually lost, I don't know if I actually lost a pound or two, because now that I've been home, now I'm weighing in around 121, 122, which is kind of average for me. So it might have just been the traveling and dehydration, but it was nice to see that I didn't gain weight, which is very exciting for me, because that just means that my intuitive eating is working for maintaining where I am now. My physique is pretty good still. My measurements are fairly the same as when I left. Scale's pretty good, but the only thing is I think my midsection is a little more bloated, or not as defined as it was when I left. But that's, you know, not that big of a deal. That could just be the lack of, you know, toning exercises I did in that section. The exercises or activities I did when I was gone, it was more cardio based and not strength training or toning, so that makes sense. But yeah, overall the week of intuitive, or a little more than a week of intuitive eating, went really well. I'm very happy with how I ate and my results, or I guess lack thereof, or just maintenance. I'm happy where I'm at. I feel like when I would travel before this and I was counting macros, I was just I was stressed. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little stressed because I was trying to figure out how to balance it all and add it all up, and I felt that without tracking, and I actually didn't wear my Fitbit either, and that was nice, to just not track anything and just listen to my body and eat until I was full, and stop or eat again when I was hungry, and not have to count every single thing I was eating or see how many calories I burned that day. Also, another thing is that my resting heart rate when I got back was in the 60s, which is very nice. I feel like in the past few trips that I've taken for work or anything like that, I would come back and my resting heart rate would be around 72 to 74. This time when I came back, I think it was at 67, which is very good. Maybe that has to do with the stress of, you know, having to count calories versus not, I'm not sure. Today I think I woke up with a resting heart rate around 65, 66, so very, very happy with that. So overall, intuitive eating for the past week and a half, 2 weeks has worked out great. I'm very happy with it, so we'll see what Chelsea says and suggests for the next few weeks. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I will go ahead and show you my physique, and I'll see you guys in the next update. Bye.